Time to put in that application for season tickets because they are coming off of a 10-7 season, a season that was supposed to, like D'Marco said a minute ago, the word that you weren't supposed to say out loud, right? The remodel, I think, is the word that was used publicly. This upcoming season should be incredibly exciting. A lot of new faces, both on the field and on the sidelines as well. New defensive coordinator Chris Shula joining us right now. Chris, thanks so much for stopping by.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
So do you even get an off season when you get the promotion to the D.C. job? Obviously, you've been with the Rams for 8 years, but all of a sudden you are in that D.C. chair. What is it like? Did you just hit the ground running the very next day?
Hit the ground running. I think when I got the job, we had about a week and a half left of vacation.
Okay.
But we still had to hire coach. You got to fill out the staff, and there's a timely manner to that because the coaches that we hired, Greg Williams and Giff Smith had other opportunities in the league. So it was a timely fashion that we had to, you become the D coordinator now. Next thing you know, you got to get coaches. That happened the very next day. So filled out the staff, feel great about them. Unbelievable staff. And then, now we're, working on the draft and free agency and scheme. And, there is no offseason to answer your question.
Is that are you on the horn as the DC calling guys? Saying, or is that somebody else calling for you? Like when you're calling to fill out your staff?
Well, we got to put in a request for the interview. So, you can't talk to them directly. So, so they put in the request, and then once the request goes through, then we kind of set it up. And,
that's really awesome, man. I mean, look, I hope I don't bug you on game day because I always come up to you on game day and ask him questions.
You never do it.
And it's always right when you're done working out, or at least when I think you're done working out. But always great answers. And I was looking over the list of guys that you've been with. You've been with Wade. You've been with Raheem Morris. Joe Barry got a job. Brendan Staley got a job. I mean, you've coached from the secondary to the linebackers to the front. When did you know you were ready for this moment to be DC in the National Football League?
I never really thought like that. I was always just so focused on the job at hand. I was never really looking ahead. When I was coaching linebackers, I was ready to coach linebackers for the next 10 years. Move to DBs, you do the same thing. And then, I think all those experiences and all the great coaches you work under eventually just prepare you for the task at hand, which is right now. And, that's all I'm focused on is the now, and that's what I did in the past, and hopefully that still continues to benefit me.
That's one of the other points. Like during games, I know you get so engrossed doing what you're doing, coaching your guys, but did you ever stop and just make mental notes for yourself like, if this comes up down the road, I would do X, Y, and Z? Did you have those moments?
Yeah, for sure. I think you're always kind of knowing that this is the next step in the progression of the profession, and you're always kind of thinking of it. If I ever get that opportunity, I may do something this way. And there's always stuff that's kind of fun to think about.
I like the way he did that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is working under a Wade Phillips and a Brandon Staley and a Raheem Morris. They all did it in their own way. They were all very different, and they're all very effective. Some great, obviously Wade's one of the best of all time. Raheem's track record speaks for itself, and so does Brandon's. And so just working under those guys, you learn so much, and you kind of take a little piece of them, but you got to do it your own way.
Chris Shula, the Rams' new defensive coordinator, joining us here on Rams Revealed. And it's kind of what I wanted to ask you next, Chris, is all the names that you mentioned that you've worked for. These are guys that have been around the league a long time, have a kind of a ton of experience. You obviously spent your life in football and have been around it a long time. Taking everything that you see from your mentors, from your peers, and saying, okay, I like this from this guy, I like that from this guy. How much is putting together all of that, and how much of it is, I want to do it like this, just seeing it your own way and putting that spin on what you've learned throughout your years coaching in the league?
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to do, and you're always going to be yourself. Like, I can't even try to be Raheem Morris. I think everyone could kind of see that. You can't try to be Wade Phillips. He's kind of his own man. You just take certain things that I think you can – from those. Like Raheem developed relationships with all the players, and he did that, developed the relationships in his own way, and I'll develop relationships with the guys in my own way, and that's kind of the thing. And Brandon, I always thought was so good at studying around the league and always watching stuff and always studying and always getting better, and you kind of take that from him. Now you don't know exactly what he's studying, you kind of do that in your own way. And then same with Wade, he let his coaches coach, and he gave them ownership, and I've always kind of felt that having such a strong staff, that's definitely how we'll operate.
Wade was sneaky funny. He was. He would send out a tweet like, how old are you? And you're tweeting? Or you see him dancing on the dance floor.
Still tweeting, yeah.
I mean, you might have to cut a rug every now and then.
Wade was, I don't know about that, but Wade was classic and awesome to go to work with every day. It really was, and the stories he would tell about some of the older players he coached and stuff. It was so cool to go work with.
You know, I was reading, and you are one of 2 families that are third generation coaching in the NFL. Who's the other one?
Yeah, the Phillips.
The Phillips family. Oh my God,
Wes
that's
Phillips,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Oh my God, does that ever dawn on you? Like, wow, this is like in our blood. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's what I found that out actually when I got hired here initially with the Rams. When I came up and started working with Wade, and Wade actually said that to me. So I think he's the one that told me that.
That's right. So Bum, Wade, and his son
Wes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
here.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
wow, right here. They're all we're here
I
at
was
one
going to
point.
say,
That's
it's all
nuts.
coming through Los Angeles.
That's
at one
nuts.
point or another.
Unbelievable. Wow, history.
And this, I asked Raheem Morris this question a few years ago, and I always remember the answer. So, but before I tell you what he said to me, I'm curious your take on it too. How do you coach one of the greats to have ever played this sport? How do you coach an Aaron Donald? How do you put him in a position to get better and be at his best?
Yeah, I think for Aaron Donald, first of all, he wants to be coached, and that's always the thing that, like with the Rams, and one of the reasons why we've had had success over the years is our best players want to get coached, and he wants to get coached just like everybody else. And now, obviously, you're not going to treat him just like everybody else because he's earned that right. And I think with him, it's showing him how you can get him one-on-one. You know, what can you do? How can you get him one-on-one in the run game? How can you get him one-on-one in the pass game? And showing him those types of things. And now, hey, maybe here you might have a tough down, or maybe here, you know, we might be doing this and bringing something the other way. And, you know, and it's kind of a give and take. But I think that's where it starts, and you kind of show them, you know, hey, here's where we can benefit you.
What are some of the differences? Like you said, you know, he's earned the right to be treated differently, that he wants to be coached. What are some of the differences?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's whether it's a veteran off day, you know, whether it's something with meetings. I think there's definitely some non-negotiables, some, you know, when it comes to playing hard on the field and some stuff like that. You know, how we take the field, how we play, you know, how we get off blocks, how we run to the ball. That's all going to be the same. But I think, you know, as far as how you get the process of getting to play your best on Sunday, it's a lot different for a guy that's been in the league 10 years and made however many All-Pros, you know, versus a guy that's been, you know, 2 or 3 years in the league. And I think it's going to be a lot different. I think everyone would agree with that.
When you see him with his shirt off, yeah, your tone will change. Absolutely. This guy can rip my arms off. Let me just, you know, I'll just ask him. No, but you know, Aaron is special. We know that he's from Mars. He's from a different planet. But the guys that, like Ernest Jones, who got progressively better, and you keep asking more of him, and he keeps performing. And guys like Michael Hoyt, position change, becomes a starter in the National Football League. That's the stuff that gets to me. I love watching Aaron play, but I love watching guys progress. We're going to have Bobby Brown on the show, right?
Yep.
Another guy who got nothing but better the more reps he gets. That's the stuff that fires me up. How about you?
Yeah, exactly the same. And, you know, I think of another guy, Quinton Lake, who got the opportunity this year, you know, kind of the second half of the year, started playing at some different spots, started playing the safety position, started playing the star. Another guy we're really excited about. Yeah, you mentioned Ernest Jones. You mentioned another guy, Kobe Turner, Byron Young. I mean, those guys. But, yeah, that's why you get into coaching. It's about the players. And that's why, you know, all of us that coach with the Rams, you know, it's all about the players, and it's how we can get them to play their best and trying to show them and everything we can do, every stone unturned, no matter what it is. It's all about them. It's not about scheme. It's not about anything else. It's how we can get them to play their best. And you know, I think when they know that and they realize that, I think that's when, you know, they'll play hard, and that's when great relationships form.
Rams new defensive coordinator Chris Shula joining us here on Rams Revealed. And not statistically, that's not what I'm asking, but just the evolution of them as football players. What does year 2 for Turner and Byron Young look like?
Yeah, I think it's just continuing to grow. You know, I think Kobe Turner doesn't necessarily get enough credit in how he played the run. You know, you talk about the 9 sacks breaking the rookie record, but he's a great player on all downs, and I think it's just continuing to increase his role a little bit. Maybe you know, his stamina, play a few more snaps. You know, he's already played a 17-game season now. Kind of build on that, and I think the same thing with Byron Young. You know, I think he's got so much ability. And, you know, maybe honing that pass rush a little bit, and maybe not running down the middle of the offensive line and stuff like that where, you know, you're working to move, you're working an edge, using your speed. He's a great player versus the run, you know, continue to build on that. So I think it's just 2 guys that are all around really good players on, you know, versus the run and the pass, and just building on what they do well.
I have a theory about Byron Young. I don't want to – not blame. Blame is the wrong word, but – I wish the Rams at SoFi had a tremendous home field advantage to where you couldn't even hear in here, like up in Seattle. Imagine Byron Young with that speed off the edge when you couldn't hear as a tackle.
There's no doubt. Yeah, that's what we need. We need the fans to show up. And,
That's 16
and
sacks.
come out and help Byron Young out.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, that dude, we said he is a tremendous talent. Once he learns how to pass rush, he's going to be dangerous. And you saw the light come on a few times, didn't you?
Oh, definitely.
There were a few plays and a few drives where he went out there and he was the best player on the field.
No, there really was, and we saw it in camp. We saw it in OTAs. We saw it throughout training camp. And he played a ton of snaps. I think him and Mike Hoyt were in the top 5 at the outside backer position in snaps played on the season.
Definitely competing.
So to come in and do that as a rookie is one of the more impressive things I've ever seen. And I think he had 9 sacks as well.
Yeah.
He had at least had 8. And so, he was a productive guy. And, yeah, you're exactly right. He's got so much ability, and I think part of that will be keeping him fresh, so he can get off the ball every single snap, where some of the times he's not saving himself because he knows he has to play a long drive. I think it's little things like that where we can show him, or I think we can get the most out of him.
Well, just one quick thing.
Yeah.
Schematically, things going to change, or that's still up in the air?
It's a little bit up in the air.
Up in the air.
We're
Okay.
getting into it. We'll build off what we've done and keep with the core foundation, and we'll see in the next coming months.
We'll throw one more at you, Chris. When D'Marco's talking about that light coming on for a player like Byron Young, you see that thing. Is it a technique? Is it a recognition of something that they're about to do to him? For
You
somebody
get whammed by a fullback, that light will come on quick.
Is that what it is? Just understanding what they're trying to do to you?
Yeah, I think it's
next
a little bit of that. On defense, you're always reacting. So, it's reacting to the offensive tackle set. It's studying the sets. It's having it move and what do I do best, and now having counters off it. It's all those types of things that we'll continue to work with him on. And you know what? He's one of the hardest workers on the team. He's exactly when we talk about guys in the draft that we're looking to onboard, we're looking for guys like Byron Young. So.
Chris Shula is the new defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams. Chris, congratulations. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me on.
You can't have my scarf. Thanks, man.
I bet he could get one if he wanted.
I'm sure he could find one somewhere.
I'm sure he could for sure. Absolutely. Thanks again, Chris. Yeah, D'Marco, it's something else, isn't it?